Williams.
The last time I stood here, it was morning, so that greeting has expired. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Right. My job is not as difficult as it looks. It's to give you an overview of the two. I surely would have loved to be a little bit more detailed, but we don't have the luxury of time. However, I think it's important to share a piece of information of why it is not absolutely necessary to take the two line by line in this meeting. Yes, it would have been very, very useful to do that, and we are going to try as much as possible to look at a few major areas. But we have in the house, like the director did announce, consultants that have been assigned to states, and it is the responsibility of the consultants to support the state teams to, one, develop deeper familiarity with the two, and secondly, to support their states to populate the two. Now, every state represented in this hall has a consultant attached to it, because some of the two of the consultants are doing multiple states, but the field work is staggered in such a way that you can finish from one state and focus on the other. So I think for starters, it's important for me to introduce the consultants in their states so that we have some clarity. And then, of course, the states will meet their consultants, and during lunch break, can commence conversations on how to engage further. Let me also mention that a lot of the initial engagement is going to be virtual, so the consultants will engage with the state teams virtually, and then we all have time to look in more detail at the tools. May I kindly crave the question to stand upright, Professor Hawa Lami. Professor Hawa Lamino is going to be supporting Bochi and Jigawa State. So where is Bochi State? Bochi State is here. Where is Jigawa State? Jigawa State is there. So behold, Professor Hawa Lamino. Thank you. Dr. Yusuf Abdurrahman. Dr. Yusuf Abdurrahman is going to be supporting Kebbi and Zamfara states. Where is Kebbi State? You are already. Why did I waste the time of this distinguished quality? Zamfara, you need to work hard because Kebbi is trying to take. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Ashashiata, you rise to thank you. Katsina State. Katsina is online. So I think, when you do hybrid meetings, we can very easily forget virtual participants. So what Katsina did was to make sure they are not here, and then to see whether we remember them or not. So now let me compare to relate to Katsina State. I'm aware that they are very, very much online. Katsina State is very, very much online. And Katsina State will be supported by Dr. Ashashi Atta. Thank you very much, Marcus. Let me mention also that the tool, as currently exists, has been shared with you on the WhatsApp platform. Yeah, so if you check your phones or your laptops, if you have your WhatsApp on your laptop, you are very likely to find the tool there. And if you are not able to access it, please let us know so that because at times there may be issues with your number or something. I think our ICT and M&E consultant did tell me that he attempted using email addresses and some of the mails were bouncing back. Yeah, so please check your email also. And while we are at this, let me apologize for the heat here. I'm aware that Mrs. Shamaki is making some efforts to get the hotel management to do something about it. But maybe for starters, some of this lighting can go up because I think they also contribute to heating of the place. The other point I'd like to make to help you appreciate this process is that the tool is 100% customized for Nigeria. It would have been very, very easy for us to pick the UNICEF template and say, this is what we are going to do. Very, very easy. But what we did was to look at the key templates available and customize something for our country. And as you look at the tool more closely, you will find that the scope of the tool has been limited very deliberately. What I mean by that is there's a lot of information that can be collected in a process like this. But you need to link the tool with the methodology. And when I talk about the methodology, I'm building on what Prof had introduced earlier. A lot of the work populating this tool will be done by all the state representatives in this hall as arrowheads of the process. But you will discover very soon that on your own, the four of you may not have all the information. And so our expectation, which was very, very clearly shared with the honorable commissioners, your honorable commissioners, whom we met with a couple of weeks ago, is that when you get back to your states, you will be supported to mobilize all the additional persons whose input you will require to be able to populate this tool. So the consultant will be supporting you virtually, but you will be the one doing the population of the tool at your state level. During the state providing tool administration phase, the consultant will not come to your state physically. They will support you virtually. So it's very important for all the state players in this meeting virtual and in person, to be very, very sufficiently familiar with the process, so that you don't sit there and go waiting for the day the consultant will arrive. No consultant is arriving anywhere. You are the consultant. Okay. Right. But if your commissioner gives us plenty of money, the consultant will come. Yeah. Right. I think before we start looking at the tools, I also needed to add that the state profiling tool is simply the entry tool to this process. Deep dive tools are going to be developed. And yes, we have some drafts of the deep dive tools. But the reason we have not firmed up those tools for circulation is that if we are talking state-specific, LGA-specific, and so on, if we are focusing on specificity, we are not in a hurry to develop a tool that will look at generic issues. So we want to see what the state profiling tool brings back to us. So as we see, some of the information that will be collected through the state profiling tool, we will then use all that information, that rich information, to further refine the LGA level and community level deep dive tools. So please note that this is not the only tool that is going to give you all the information about drivers of acute and severe malnutrition. So when you take the tool, when we have introduced it, don't begin to say, but this does not seem to be able to capture any specifics about the drivers of the various forms of malnutrition. So now we look at the tool. We have barely 30 minutes to do that. So I'm going to move quite fast. The tool has 8 sections. The tool has 8 sections. Section A is identification. We should be able to, right from picking up a completed tool, know whether it is coming from Jigawa State or Kebbi State, and so on. So we have the identification.
I noticed you change back. I'm in a meeting. I came to represent my auntie in a meeting. This week was so serious.
Economic data. No, I'm not talking through the tools here. I'm just giving you the headings. And very soon I will begin to take them section by section. Section C looks at nutrition. Section D is nutrition programming and management. And section E is stunting and wasting. Section F is food security and agriculture. Section G is health sector, nutrition, funding, and expenditure. So we are not just looking at how much money is allocated, but we are